Okay, so today we will start with dispersion. Suppose we have a surface separating two media. The below one is glass, the upper one is air. We know that glass is more denser than air, right? In the same situation, we are putting a blue ray here, we are putting a red ray here. Now can you tell me which one has more refractive index? Yeah, blue has more refractive index. Good. So refractive index of violet or blue is greater than refractive index of red. Okay, if an object, if a light ray has more refractive index, so if a light ray falls on a surface which pair is having more refractive index, does that mean that the one which is having more refractive index will bend more towards the normal? Does it mean like that?
Yes.
Okay, so if I draw a normal in this case and if I draw a normal in this case, I will be able to see that it will go, if like this one will go more towards the normal, right? Because the violet or blue has more refractive index, right? Now the same thing if we apply to a prism. Okay, have we read the Newton's disk experiment? Have we done the Newton's disk experiment? What do we see there in Newton's disk experiment?
Sir, you don't have taught us that.
That is okay, but have we done that when we were earlier in our lower classes? Okay, what do we see? That if I create a rainbow like pattern on a circular disc and if I rotate that fast, I'll be able to see which color?
White.
White color. That means we can say that white color is the aggregate of all the possible colors, right? Okay, suppose I have a prism here. Okay, suppose I have a prism here. Now I brought a white light. This black ray is actually a white light. Now the ray fell on this surface, so we can draw a normal on this surface. Okay, now the white light is composed of all of the colors, right? Let us think just simply that suppose it is composed of a red light and a blue light. Okay, if it is composed of a red and blue light, now red has less refractive index, blue has more refractive index. That means the blue light will bend more towards the normal and the red light will bend less towards the normal, right? Now if I again draw a normal at both of the portions, if I again draw a normal here and a normal here, tell me when they will face this normal again, the red is always having less refractive index, the blue is having more refractive index. So in this case the red will make lesser angle and the blue will make more angle. Is that clear? Now it is only composed of two kind of colors, red and blue. Now if it would have been made with all the colors present in the VIBGYOR, then starting from violet, can I write it as VIBGYOR? Can I write it in this way? That means if I have a white light and if I put a prism in the path of the light, all of them will get separated out and they will split into parts after passing from the prism. This phenomena in which a surface splits a white light into its constituent colors is known as dispersion. So what is it doing? It is just splitting into its constituent colors. Is the concept clear? Okay, so dispersion is nothing but splitting of light into its constituent colors while passing through a prism. Okay, splitting of light into its constituent colors while passing through a prism. Write down. Okay, now let us assume that we have a prism like this and we have another prism parallel to it and like this. Okay, same angle of prism, Suppose a ray of light is coming in this direction. Okay, so it will get split into two parts. This is the first part, this one will be the second part. So there will again be a split, so it will get split. There will not be a split, there will again be a deviation, so it will go towards this direction, this one will go towards this direction. Now till now we have understood in the first diagram. What will happen if I draw a normal at this point and a normal at this point? What will happen?
So it will just reflect back to this light.
They will reflect.
It's forming white light.
They will not reflect, they will refract. They will refract such that, see, both of them are entering into a denser medium, right? The blue one is also entering into a denser medium, the red one is also entering into a denser medium. They will refract in such a way, okay, they will refract in such a way such that after refraction they will meet at a point. Okay, after meeting at this point they will go back. Like if you draw a normal, they will go back in this direction. Okay, such that this ray and this ray will be parallel to each other. You understood it clearly? Is that clear? Ekdam clear? The white light is coming, it is splitting into its constituent colors. After splitting, it is again facing another prism, it is getting converged, and ultimately it is forming a white light. If and only if they are kept with two faces parallel to each other. Okay,
So why the another prism was just kept as a inverted position?
so that we may keep it as parallel to each other. Otherwise, can we keep it parallel if we do not invert it? No. So the only possibility is to keep it in this position. Okay,
There is a question was that if why we just kept the another prism as an inverted. So what we are right? What we right about that?
we will keep another prism so that we can unify the splitted parts, so that we can get a white light from a white light. Because if we don't do that, this won't get converged. Okay, suppose think it in this way, that suppose you have a prism like this and you have a prism like this. Think about it. Okay, now these are not parallel to it. It does not have any side parallel to each other. Does it have? No. Now suppose a ray of light is coming like this, it will get split into two parts, it will again get split into two parts, right? What will happen in this case? It will get split into more, again two parts. Will they ever get joined? Will they ever get joined? No.
Means they diverge. So they form the same colors as they are forming.
Yes, absolutely. That means we need to converge them so that we can form a single ray of light.
We have to converge them, so we are using the inverted.
Yes, and we know that whenever we have a prism, any ray of light that falls on the prism will get bent, and the ray of light will always bend towards the base. Right? See, in each of the cases the ray of light is bending towards the base, right? In each of the cases the ray of light is bending towards the base. So if I have to bend it towards the base, I will keep it in this way. If I have to bend it towards this base, then I have to invert it. Do I have any other option? No. Okay, write it down. Okay, so we see rainbow. When do we see rainbow? Do we see rainbow in the month of March? No. Do we see rainbow in the month of October? No. In month of June and July mostly, right? We see rainbow in month of August also sometimes, but we don't see rainbow in October, right? We don't see rainbow in other seasons. Why?
Because it was not a rainy season as rain.
Okay, can we see rainbow in every rainy season? Can we see this is a rainy season? Can we see rainbow now? No, but we see rainbow in the month of July or in the early times of August, right? But we don't see rainbow now. Why don't we see rainbow now? Okay, so two important criteria are important for formation of rainbow. Okay, first criteria is, do we see rainbow before rain or after rain? After rain. Okay, what happens if it rains? What happens if it rains? What happens to the atmosphere after raining? Do we feel chip chip after raining? You don't feel chip chip after raining. It feels chip chip. It feels a more humid. Shat shate mone hoy. Okay, it feels like that. It feels like shat shate. Yeah, sticky. If you try to dry some clothes in a rainy season, does it take longer or shorter time? Longer. Why does it take longer time? Because there is more amount of humidity in the air, right? So it feels chip chipa. Okay, why does it feel chip chipa? Because more water. Okay, so just after the rain, is the amount of water content much more or much less? After rain, is the water content in the atmosphere much more or much less? Much more, because it has already shed the water and the water is passing through the air, so some of it will get captured into the air. Is that clear? It is not always in the cloud. Okay, when the cloud shades as rain, a part of water will be present in the atmosphere as humidity. Okay, the water will get saturated. Okay, so the amount of water vapor in air has increased. Okay, so it is increased in September also, it is increased in August also, but we don't see rainbow in the August month. Why? Because there is presence of less amount of sunlight, because mostly the cloudy and shady, right? It is dark. So is there presence of sun during August? Is there presence of sun during September? No. So it is mostly dark and cloudy. So the two criteria that is required for rainbow to happen is there is presence of sunlight and the presence of humidity in air. Okay, first we go through the humidity in air. Now humidity is due to water vapors, right? Water vapors. Okay, what does water vapor have? Water droplets. Okay, now if I tell you that this is a water droplet, if I tell you that this is a water droplet and this water droplet is consisted of water, what do we mean? Do we mean that the inside of the droplet is denser or rarer than the outside? Denser, right? So can I think of it that I have been given a small ball of glass inside the air? Can I think of it like that? So water is just acting like a denser medium as we have worked with glass. Okay, is this part clear? Okay, now we will consider two things that can happen. Okay, so we will draw both of the drawings. Suppose I am writing this water droplet as this big. This is droplet 1. Okay, that is droplet 1 and this is droplet 2. Okay, as usual we know that this one is denser, this one is denser, and the outside is rarer. Okay, so I will go simple. Suppose a ray of light is coming and falling on the surface. So first thing that will happen is that it will bend, right? So if it bends, it will bend like this. Is that clear? Okay, now the portion where it bends, suppose it makes an angle greater than 42 degree. That means there is a high possibility that it will reflect back. That is known as total internal reflection. So total internal reflection will take place and it will reach this surface, right? If it reaches this surface, after that it will move out. So this is a possibility. Okay, there is another possibility. Suppose a ray of light falls here. Now there is a possibility that it will bend and it will fall here. Now if I draw a normal here, and if this angle is greater than 42 degree, that means there is a high possibility there will be a total internal reflection, right? So total internal reflection will occur. So if it occurs, it will make the same angle, so it will go somewhere like this. Again, is there a possibility that total internal reflection will occur? Okay, that means that will make the same angle also, it will come here, right? Then if I draw a normal, it will go out of here. Do you see that? So there are two possibilities. If this is water vapor, that means it is a water droplet. There are two possibilities. First possibility, if the light enters from the top, it will go out from the bottom like this. If the light enters from the bottom, it will go like this and go to the bottom portion. So in both of the cases, see, they are going at the bottom portion, right? In both of the cases, they are going at the bottom portion, but this thing is happening when the light is entering through the lower part. This is happening when the light is entering through the top part. Okay, so this one we call as primary rainbow. Okay, this one we call as secondary rainbow. Okay, write it down, both of you. So we have understood both of the cases, that we call something as primary rainbow, something as secondary rainbow. Shivam, get out. We call, okay, so suppose I have some water droplets like this. Okay, suppose the rays of light are coming and falling in there. Okay, let us imagine that the rays of light are falling at the bottom portions and some are falling at the top portions. Okay, now what do we see when they fall at the top portion? What do we see? It passes from the bottom, right? And if they fall on the bottom portion, it also passes to the bottom. But remember, the one that you have drawn in the bottom portion is more slanting down, right? See, the previous image is more slanting down, and the one in the top portion is less slanting down, right? That means I can say that if it happens like this, so they will cross and they will come like this. Is that clear? And for this portion, the rays will okay. Yeah, the top portions are more slanting than the bottom portions, right? So what happens if I extend this backward? If I extend this backward, I will get to see two kind of rainbow. So I will be putting my eye at this portion. If I look straight, I will see two kind of rainbow. The top portion will form the secondary rainbow, and the bottom portion will form the primary rainbow. So we don't see actually one rainbow. We see how many rainbows? We see two rainbows. How many? Two rainbows. Okay, so one is the secondary rainbow, another one is the primary rainbow. Okay, so we understood how rainbow is formed. Okay, have we ever noticed that we are seeing a rainbow when we go near a waterfall? Okay, have we see a rainbow? Suppose you have a towel full of water, you just give a good shake, and can you see a rainbow formed inside of that? Try it at home. Suppose you will try it in the afternoon when there will be a lot of sun, and it is mostly seen in the morning because sun rays are slanting. You just give a good jerk, the water vapor will come out from the water will come out as water droplets from the from your towel, and you can see a good nice rainbow in that also. Okay, so we can see rainbow not only in case of after rain in the sky, but in other small situations. If you follow it closely, you can also see in other places where water droplets are involved. Okay. The question is, how will I understand whether it is a primary rainbow or secondary rainbow? First thing is, there are many ways to understand. Okay, first thing is, how many times it is getting totally internally reflected? One time. And how many times it is getting refracted? 2 times, right? But if you watch the secondary rainbow, how many times it is getting totally internally reflected? 2 times. Now if it has to get refracted 2 times, it is traveling much more inside the liquid, then a more amount of energy will be lost. If you see this one, more amount of energy will be lost. But if you look at this one, just going and coming, so less amount of energy will be lost. So in some cases more energy is lost, in some cases less energy lost. Okay, the case in which we have less energy lost, will it be more bright or less bright? Less energy lost. So final ray will be more bright. Less energy lost. I am taking a ray from here. If I lose 10%, I am left with 90%. And if I am moving a ray like this, if I remove 30%, I am left with 70%. So if more energy is lost, if 30% is lost, I am left with 70%, which is less. Okay. So if in this case more energy is lost, will it be much brighter or fainter? Fainter. Will this be brighter or fainter? Brighter. So first thing that you should consider is primary rainbow will be brighter. Okay, and secondary rainbow will be fainter. One more thing to consider. Suppose a ray of light from here comes and falls at the bottom portion. It can fall. It is possible, like ray of light can fall at any point. Okay, it can fall at the top, it can fall at the bottom. But if it falls at the bottom, then a refraction like this will take place. This ray will pass like this, right? Will it reach our eye? No. Will it reach our eye? No. So the only case that the ray that falls at the bottom will reach our eye is something that is happening at the top portion. And if we extend that backward, that will always be a secondary rainbow. So if we see 2 rainbows, the rainbow which will be present at the top will be the secondary rainbow. Okay. And one more thing. Suppose I look at this. See, it's very conceptual. Okay. Suppose I look at this. Suppose I have a water droplet, and imagine a ray of light has come and it has fallen on this. It will get split into 2 parts. We know red is less deviated, blue is more deviated. So the red will pass like this and the blue will pass more like this, right? The red will pass less, the blue will pass more. Okay. Now both of them will get totally internally reflected and the blue will fall in this portion. It will also get totally internally reflected and it will fall in this portion. Am I clear? And after again getting refracted by this portion, it will go like this and this one will go like this. Okay. Now imagine both of these rays in this situation. So if I imagine it in this situation, so I will see that the blue will go like this and then the red will come and then the red will come like this, right? In this situation, the blue will come like this and the red will come like this, right? Will this red reach my eye? Will this red reach my eye? No. And will this blue reach my eye? No. So I will be left with this red and this blue. So in case of primary rainbow, the lower portion will be red, the upper portion will be violet or blue. Okay. But the case is different with secondary rainbow. In case of secondary rainbow, the lower part will be violet, the upper part will be red. Okay. Write this down. We have a problem. The problem here is that, all of you observe it, we have a problem here. Okay. Now the problem here is that I have made a little mistake. See, in this case, if the violet falls here, okay, till this is okay, but if the violet falls here and if I draw a normal, the normal will be like this, and if I draw a normal here, the normal will be like this. Is that clear? Okay. Now if I look at both of the cases, now this is the angle made by the violet inside, this is the angle made by the violet outside. Okay. But in case of red, this is the angle made inside, this is the angle made outside. See, it looks as if the difference in the angle is more in case of red, but it should not be. Like violet will bend more, right? The red will not bend more, the violet will bend more. That means the ray that I have drawn as violet is not drawn properly, because the angle, the change, this looks almost similar, but this, see, this one is less, this one is more, so there is a difference here. So we need to bend the violet a little more. Okay. Now if I bend the violet a little more, then the violet will be like this. Is that clear? So in this case, now it is justified because the refractive index of violet is more than refractive index of red. Okay. Now if I look at this, now we can make one more thing clear, that if I look at this, then the whole story changes again. Okay. The whole story changes. So in this, which is more slanting? The red one is more slanting. Which is less slanting? The violet one is less slanting, right? So in this case, if two rays come, one is the violet and one is the red. Okay, if two comes, one is the violet and one is the red, then the violet will reach my eye. Okay, so this won't be red, this will be violet. Is that clear? If I look at the top portion, in this case, the red, in this case the red is less bending, so the red will reach my eye, as the violet is more bending, so the violet will go like this. Is that clear? So in this case, if I draw backwards, this will be red, and this will be just the opposite of it. So it will be red and this will be violet. Is that clear? Okay, rectify it. Let us do twinkling of stars. Okay, suppose we are on the surface of earth. Okay, now our earth has various layers in it. Tell me, does all of the layers are of same density? No. Okay. Do wind flow in air? Do wind flow in air? The wind flows. Okay. So we have two things. First thing is that density varies. Right? The density varies. The lowermost layer, troposphere, has more density than stratosphere, than everything else. Yes. And the next thing is the wind flows. So if the wind flows, will the density be same at every place every time? No. Now when a ray of light comes from the star, imagine this is the original star. Okay, now the ray of light is coming, so what will happen? the ray of light will start coming like this. Okay, so there is a possibility that the ray of light will come, it will then bend here, it will then bend here. Okay, just let me see. Okay, it is going to denser medium, then it will again bend here, because it is going into denser medium. If it goes into denser medium, it will bend towards the normal, right? Okay, and here let me be sitting with my eye in this direction. So what must actually happen is, if it falls in my eye, I will straight away draw it backwards, right? If I draw it backwards, this will be the new position of star. So it is highly possible that as we see moon at a specific point, we will be seeing the star at the specific point, but it doesn't happen, it twinkles. Do we see the star at a fixed point every time? No, it twinkles. Sometimes we see that, sometimes we don't see that. That is why we say that it twinkles. And do it twinkle very less? No, it twinkles like this continuously, faster. Okay, does it twinkle like this, dip, then dip? No, it is always there, but sometimes we can see, sometimes we cannot see. Okay, it's very changing very fast. Okay, now suppose the wind is blowing in this layer. So it may happen that as the wind is blowing in that layer, the density of this layer may suddenly increase, for example. If it increases, then will it reach my eye? So for at any instant it does not reach my eye. Will I be able to see the star? No. Then for this reason we are seeing a gap. There is no star. Okay. Now it may also happen that its density has decreased, so it may go like this. Then it may happen that it may come like this. Is it again reaching my eye? No. Then will I be able to see the star? No. That means in this case also we will see blank. But see, my eye is quite big, okay, and the density, air is almost hollow. So if due to the wind the density also changes, it may not change significantly. It may change, but it may change very little amount also. Okay, so it may not change significantly. In that case, it can happen, remember this point, it can happen that this ray of light may sometimes bend a little and reach my eye from some other portion. See, if I am looking at you, I can see her also. If you are looking at me, you can see the end of the board also, but you are not looking at the board. Can you see the end of the board? You can see the end of the board. Even don't look at me, you can see the end of the board. Just take it clearly. Look at me. Can you see the stand? Yes. Without looking at the stand, you can understand that there is a stand. If I am looking at you, I can see her head is shaking. Okay, that means it is reaching my eye at some other point. So that image won't be that clear. Okay, when you are looking at me, is the stand much clear? No, my eyes are clear, but the stand is not much clear. So that is what I am trying to say, that if it reaches our eye from any other point, that means it will form the image at some other point in the retina, not at the perfect spot where we get the clearmost image. Okay, so the ray that will be formed, the image that will be formed due to this ray won't be that bright or that sharp. So in that case we will be seeing the star, but the star won't be that sharp. Is that clear? So in both of the cases or three cases, we may sometimes see the star, we may not see the star, or we may see the star faint. That means it is not giving me a constant perfect vision. So we can see it as twinkling. This is the phenomenon of twinkling of stars. Okay, it happens due to two factors mostly. One is density, one is the wind. These two factors mainly play the role. Okay, write down.